Hey, I wanted to talk to you about relatives. The holidays just around the corner, and recently this month we've been talking about avoidance and avoiding situations and feelings that you don't want to deal with. And now here comes the holiday, and some of that stuff might be coming up. Hey, I don't want to see so and so. I don't want to deal with how my relatives show up and deal with the stressful situation. I mean, it can be really rewarding, but at the same time, it can be really stressful. And some of you may be thinking, man, I'm kind of dreading this more than I am getting excited about it. So I was reading my emails the other day, and I came across this excerpt that Wayne Dyer wrote, who I think is a genius. And he was writing about authenticity with your relatives. And obviously they put this out because the holidays are coming up. So I was reading a little bit of it, and I wanted to talk about a quote that he said. And he said, your friends are God's way of apologizing for your relatives. And I thought that was awesome because, we are going to connect with people in this world, and they aren't necessarily going to be the people that are our relatives and the people that we say is our family or that have been our family, whether through blood relation or, adopted family or whatever that may be. We have people that we do connect with, and those are people that are also very important to us as well. And it's okay. It's okay to resonate and feel more connected to and have more peace and have more commonality and a better genuine connection with people who are not our blood relatives. That's okay. But sometimes, we have to go into, well, we never have to, but a lot of the times we do feel pressured, or we do have decided that we are going to go into situations with relatives that maybe trigger us. So as Wayne was talking about in his email, that we allow the demands and the expectations of these relatives to cause us stress. We're wanting to be our authentic self and wanting to be at peace, but in the face of dealing with the relatives that we might come encounter with, it's like, well, if I say this, or if I speak my truth, or if I talk about what I really feel, then it's going to create chaos. But if I don't, then I'm not being authentic to myself. And then that kind of sucks too. That's not comfortable. So it's not comfortable to sit there and keep your mouth shut and just smile and get through it. And and it's also not comfortable to then express your truth and then have your relatives be reacting to that and then creating this like discussion or some kind of confrontation at the holidays. So what do you do? How do you handle it in, the best way possible? And in the best way that I've discovered to do that is to work on yourself. There's no way you're going to change the relatives. You're not going to change anybody, but you can work on you, your responses, your intention, and, work on your programs and the issues that get triggered off in you and face of these relatives. So, I was again, like going over some of the stuff he mentioned, and it was definitely similar to what I've been practicing. And the first thing is what vibration are you putting out there? Like, are you radiating out there peace and happiness and love, or are you kind of like internally vibrating in anger or frustration or resentment or guilt or shame? What are those things going off inside of you that then you're bringing to the table? So if you're driving to, Aunt Sue's house and you're like, I'm just so pissed about what she did in the year 2000. And, oh man, I have resentment. And, oh man, they're going to make me feel this way because, they always make me feel ashamed or feel guilty or feel bad about myself or not good enough. And I got to feel all those things and I don't want to. So you got to kind of get aligned within yourself, get in a place of peace with you, where you're then not saying those things on your way there. You're saying, yeah, I'm at peace. I feel comfortable. I feel forgiving. I feel loving towards all of these relatives. And I'm just going to vibrate that out there because this is what I think of myself, which kind of brings me to the second point. How are you treating yourself? What are the things that you're saying to yourself and what you believe about yourself? So if you're continuously beating yourself up, thinking, I'm not good enough, I'm not successful, I'm not, in a place where my relatives would view me as put together, I have problems. So if you're like viewing yourself based off of other people's judgment, then you need to do some work inside of you in order to get past those things so that you aren't triggered by people's opinions and people's judgments. And we all care about what people think, but we don't have to worry and be controlled by what people think. We have to find ways within us to be our true self and to be okay and accepting of who we are, whether, some of those things you'd like to see show up differently later, or some of these things that you really enjoy that other people don't enjoy or other people don't view as great or, good enough or successful. So that way, when you run into all these people, you're reacting differently, you're showing up differently. So even if you haven't done this work yet and you still feel like, I'm going to get triggered, there are ways to pray. There are ways to set intentions that this stuff will be minimized or that this stuff, can be a little bit different than it has been each year. So if you haven't had time to do this inner healing, subconscious, deep-rooted work yet, set some intentions. I'm going to show up happy. I'm going to stay in peace. I'm going to be calm and relaxed, and just continuously saying those things to yourself and saying, this is how I'm going to show up. And even if you don't want to forgive, Uncle John, then you're going to at least say, I'm at least willing and open to forgiveness. I'm willing and open to forgive Uncle John for what he said to me when I was 7 years old and, brought upon all this shame that I now have. So those are the things to work on. Also, don't show up with an expectation that things are going to go terribly or things are going to go like they were every year, the year before and the year before and the year before. But also not showing up with an expectation that somehow it's going to miraculously be different. That somehow this year they're all going to be like loving and supportive and happy and at peace. So if you drop the expectation of how the outcome's going to be, you don't want to say, well, just because I'm setting intentions or I've done all this work, so things have to show up different. My experience is going to be different. Don't put that on yourself. Be open to however the outcome is going to be, and just stay in a place of what you want inside of yourself, and not let that be attached to how they act or how the outcomes are going to be. Because when you do that, you set yourself up for that controlling how you feel, right? So you're in control of how you feel. You take full 100% responsibility for what you're experiencing and how you're feeling towards the relatives, but you can't control how they show up. You can only work with the internal. And so that's the work that I do with people to help you really, really get to a place of peace and balance within yourself, so that you're not constantly triggered by people on the outside world, that criticism and judgment do not sit with you the same way, and your whole relationship with yourself changes, and therefore your relationships with other people change. And how do you change other people? By doing that. That is the bottom line. They say you can't change other people. You can't. But when you change yourself, people show up differently in response to you. If you're responding the same old way when Uncle Joe does A, B, C, and D, and he wants to get under your skin and you're letting it happen, right? There, he's in control. If you're responding differently, you've taken all the power away from those other people. They might look at you like you have 10 heads. They might stop conversating with you, or they might get more infuriated by your different response. But if you're in a place of balance and you've worked on these things, it won't matter how they respond. So I encourage you to try some of these things. And I also encourage you to get a hold of me. I just sent out a newsletter talking about my Black Friday sale. I'm doing distance and motion code sessions for a package. So they're normally $50 for a half an hour. I'm giving this whole package away 5 for $175. That's $75 off. I'm also giving away a $25, it's pretty much a giveaway, $25 emotion code half hour session for first time people who have never tried it before. So if that's something you've been wanting to try, get a hold of me. The sale starts today, which is Tuesday, the 20th at 3:00, and it goes till Black Friday, the 23rd at midnight. So get it in then. If you don't have my email, please message me, send me a message here, or connect with me on Facebook or my website, and then send me a message, and we'll get that all situated. All right. Good luck on the holidays. I'm going to be in a place of peace, chilling with my dog. He might bark a little bit, but who knows what's going to happen, right? All right. Talk to you guys later.